Hello, everybody. Um, Hopefully you can hear me okay. Yes, I am wearing a Captain Trips mask. It is still pandemic time, and like I said in one of my previous videos, I'm gonna do all my YouTube videos with a mask until this is all over. I'm your friend from Canada, RVD the Dudar, your friendly neighborhood Canadian, and this video is my thoughts on the passing of the legendary Sean Connery, Sir Sean Connery, who passed away at the age of 90 this Halloween morning. As if 2020 couldn't get more more suckier. Sean Connery, man, that was unexpected. It's crazy because he hasn't made a film since 2003. My friend Dave Cote's favorite movie of all time, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Where he played Alan Quartermain. It's actually an enjoyable movie. So I just wanted to share a couple thoughts and opinions and share some of my favorite Sean Connery movies. Because I love Sean Connery. He was one of my favorite character movie star actors. He just had a presence. He had an aura about him. Any movie you saw with him was automatically better because of his presence. Even his little cameo at the very end of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves helped make that movie more legitimate. And to me, I never associated Sean Connery with James Bond. I know he's regarded on the internet as the greatest James Bond of all time. And I will fight people on that, saying I think your favorite James Bond it really depends on your age, when you were first introduced to that character in those movies. Because I think James Bond is very generational. For me, James Bond is Roger Moore. When I close my eyes, I think of Roger Moore. So, and I honestly didn't enjoy a lot of the Sean Connery James Bond movies, to be honest. But that is one of his iconic roles, which is totally fair. But yeah, Sean Connery. Bruto news. He was my grandmother's favorite actor. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, loved Sean Connery. The entire time I knew my grandmother, growing up as a kid, she always loved Sean Connery. We're part Scottish, so Sean Connery was always there as a figure. My grandmother even had pictures of Sean Connery around wherever she moved, whether it was like an apartment or a house. There was always pictures of Sean Connery. And I think even my mom had a soft spot for Sean Connery. I mean, he was, voted people's most sexiest man alive at one point. Yeah, so Sean Connery. For me, it's The Untouchables. I fucking love The Untouchables. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And he won an Academy Award for The Untouchables, for Best Supporting Actor. I believe he played the character Jimmy Malone, I believe. And he won Best Supporting Actor in 1987 for The Untouchables. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think I have it right there. Kevin Costner, Robert De Niro, Brian De Palma. Fantastic movie. And such a fantastic part. Totally Oscar-worthy, Oscar-winning performance. I knew Sean Connery. The first movie I ever saw Sean Connery in was a movie called Outland in 1981, I believe. When I was a little boy, my dad took me to this movie. Back in the days, parents would take kids to random movies. I remember, seeing random Sasquatch movies. But anyway, Outland is the first Sean Connery movie I remember as a kid. It's pretty much like a high noon western in space. There were like people blowing up in space. I remember that. Their heads would get really big in their spacesuits. And then he was in Time Bandits. I remember Time Bandits as a kid. And then I remember seeing Never Say Never Again, and I was like, oh, he's playing like an older James Bond, because I wasn't really familiar, because like I said, the first James Bond movies I ever saw were Roger Moore movies. So I remember seeing Never Say Never Again in the theater as a little kid, and I enjoyed that movie very much. I never saw Highlander, so I can't really get into Highlander until like a couple years ago. And then he made a movie with Mark Harmon, The Presidio. It also starred Meg Ryan. That was a decent movie. You know, he started making more movies. Of course, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where he played the father of Indiana Jones, Professor Henry Jones. Fantastic movie, fantastic role. And then he was in a movie, I think he was in like a gangster movie called Family Business. And then he made The Russia House with Michelle Pfeiffer, a movie I've never seen. I think that was a spy thriller. And then he was in one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. My friend Mark can attest to this, Highlander 2, The Quickening. Oh my God. What a horrible, laughable movie experience that was. But I saw Highlander 2 without even seeing Highlander. Horrible movie. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He was in Medicine Man, which I never saw. He was in First Night. He was in Just Cause. He was the voice of the dragon in Dragonheart, which is amazing. But honestly, you know, the movies I remember Sean Connery, like The Hunt for Red October, the first Tom Clancy Jack Ryan movie with Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan, and Sean Connery as Russian submarine commander Marco Ramius, I think. I love The Hunt for Red October. Sean Connery was great in that movie. Then one of my favorite movies, Rising Sun. He played a detective in Rising Sun with Wesley Snipes. It was based on a Michael Crichton novel. Great book, great movie, erotic thriller cop movie exploring the tensions and relationships and cultural differences between America and Japan. Highly recommend Rising Sun if you've never seen it. Obviously, The Rock, one of Michael Bay's best movie. He played John Patrick Mason. Kind of like, maybe he's James Bond in this alternate universe who's been locked up for decades. Fucking phenomenal movie, The Rock. One of the most entertaining movies you ever see. Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris. Fucking love The Rock. Entrapment. Over there with Catherine Zeta-Jones, that arch scene. Anyone my age, late 30s, early 40s, you're going to know that trailer. Catherine Zeta-Jones at peak hotness. You know, going through the laser beams or something. Sean Connery was great in that movie. Ving Rhames was in that. He was in a movie called Finding Forrester, which was a great movie. And then, of course, Alan Quartermain in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Those are some of my favorite Sean Connery movies. I very much enjoyed his presence on the screen. He was mythical in a way. He was very mythical and magical and had an aura that you paid attention. He was very much a movie star, very much what people would call a man's man. He's someone that, you know, commanded respect. You could tell he was fierce, very loyal, very dedicated to his craft as being an actor. And it's just a sad day that Sean Connery has finally passed away. His last many years, I heard he was enjoying life, living life, you know, being with his family and friends and just living it up, which is great, which is pretty much how I think we'd all like to go. So my respects, my thoughts and prayers to the family of Sean Connery, my grandmother's favorite actor, one of my favorite presence on the screen. My favorite Sean Connery James Bond movies are Diamonds Are Forever, Never Say Never Again, believe it or not, and Goldfinger and, you know, From Russia with Love. But yeah, Sean Connery, Sir Sean Connery, thank you for all the years you entertained us, all the great performances in movies throughout the years. I will revisit some Sean Connery movies this week in honor of your passing, and 2020 can suck it. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, hit a subscribe if you want to hear a friendly Canadian sometimes talk about pop culture things, movies, hockey, professional wrestling, Zack Snyder, Captain Trips, stuff like that. Cheers. Have a wonderful, happy Halloween. Whenever you watch this video, I hope you had a safe Halloween. If you're in the United States of America, please vote for your election. And everyone stay safe, stay informed. Rest in peace, Sean Connery. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.